Wow.
Live video is starting.
Live video is starting.
We're now live.
That's 1 day ago. Just looking to share to my own wall.
Episode 10. Sharing it to my wall.
Share. Episode. Well, everyone.
Good evening and welcome.
Thanks for coming.
You guys missed a beautiful sunset. There's still a little purple and pinky out there.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
We don't really have flamingos. What? The pool guy? Oh, there's two. But
Pool guy was here this morning. Yeah. Scared the crap out of me. Making breakfast.
AJ?
A different guy. Yeah, the other guy.
So we don't bother to learn anybody's names but AJ and Mike?
You know, I feel like I'm cheating if I cheat on AJ and Mike.
Well, they see other pools.
Ah, damn it. Those sluts. Pool sluts. You heard me, AJ.
Aggressive. That was aggressive. So we have a few topics we're going to talk about today. We're starting to get like a little more formatty. We're still working on stuff. I have not been feeling well at all. If you've been following us or if you know me, I have a chronic illness and it is debilitating. And so I haven't really been doing stuff as much as I would like to for the podcast, but I have been forcing myself to do it Monday through Friday, even when I have to crawl back into the house. And
for instance, today I was told, "Wake me up for the podcast."
Yeah, that was fun.
That was that was the
so
kind of day it was.
I'm not feeling great, and I'm covered in no-see-em bites because no-see-em screens are bullshit. Actually, I don't think that they put no-see-em screens in when they replaced the screens. No-see-ems, if you're not from Florida or you haven't spent time here, these little teeny tiny bugs. And I'm telling you
that you don't see.
My cousin, my little cousin, stepped on a yellow jacket's nest. I must have been about 11. And I was stung, I don't know, a baby. I had a pair of Eva Joya leggings on from Caldor, badly. So it was like this cool
I've never heard of that name.
Clothing line.
Okay.
I wish they made it for middle-aged fat women. As a matter of fact, somebody should relaunch that shit. So I had a baby yellow jacket got in my leggings and stung me all up and down my legs. And so I'm not really like allergic to bees, but I get like, if I get stung by anything, I sleep for like 3 days.
Oh, that's not good.
I would have. I slept all day today, but thank you to cannabis sativa. Sorry, indica. That was. I think that was OG Kush, and actually I took some more OG Kush right around 7 o'clock. So tonight's podcast has been brought to you by
O and J
OG Kush cannabis oil. Thank you to our lovely cannabis growers and oil makers.
Your story of your leggings and the bee reminded me of when my brother Steve was probably around 12 or 13. He was wearing what was this, back in the 70s. He was coming, like, came out of the house, and there was a yellow jacket in his overalls, and he had these overalls. He thought he was all cool. Well, the thing started stinging him, and he was like a cartoon, like, whoa! And he goes in the front door of the house, and my mom's standing there, like, what's going on? And he rips off he's standing there in his underwear, and all like the neighborhood kids are like standing there watching him in his underwear take off the bee laden overalls. And I don't know why. It was just one of the highlights of my growing up, seeing that. It was funny.
Seeing your brother be tortured?
Well, I didn't want him to be tortured.
I wonder if my cousins tell the story of me being repeatedly stung by a bee as if it was like funny.
Like it was funny? Well,
probably.
You're not my brother because brothers laugh at each other. My
uncle just screamed run, and I'm like, why? Like, why are we running? Like, I have no idea why. Like, and then repeatedly stung. So that was fun.
Well, I apologize on behalf of bees everywhere.
It wasn't a bee, it was a yellow jacket.
Yellow jackets are the jerks. Wasps are the jerks of the bee kingdom. Yeah. Yellow jackets are just sort of like.
So we're going to talk about The Handmaid's Tale today. We're going to talk about The Handmaid's Tale and my grandparents' sex life, which is not related. The Rife Machine, and you wanted to talk about your fun adventures with unemployment today. And
adventures.
And I wanted to talk about some of the fun things that we have seen on Facebook as of recent.
Of recent, indeed.
Yeah.
I am seeing more and more that they're hiding monosodium glutamate and all kinds of stuff. Not Ken's. Hidden Valley Ranch. No bueno.
I don't know where that came from.
I don't know. It was one of the things I just saw before we came out here.
That's the most random tidbit of fact.
Just saying, you're saying stuff we see on Facebook.
A fucking spaz, and here you are.
Oh, I'm crazy spaz. But I have a thirst for knowledge for you people.
He is not on drugs. I keep trying to give him some. He will not take it.
I won't take it.
I take them for medical reasons, and I would prefer to not be inebriated, but here you go.
Inebriated.
I don't know if inebriated is the proper term, but I will tell you that I'm hot as fuck.
It's warm out here today.
We might have to move the podcast inside.
Right to the flamingo right there. Floating around.
I could just jump in the pool. I'm also incredibly tired, and the weed is not kicked in yet. I'm at this point where I'm still tired from the last weed, but not high from the first weed, and certainly not as chatty as I normally am. So you may have to carry us a bit.
The other thing I was told today is I got the munchies.
Who said that they had the munchies?
You did today.
Oh, I don't know that I did anything particularly munchy today.
Nah, but I
had my 2 bites of my leftover gelati from Friday.
And then put that back. So the thing's
this
big.
It's
still
two bites a day. I haven't even so it's in a cup and they kind of dome it up. I haven't even cleared.
I'm still eating last week's Culver's concrete. It was flavor she didn't like, so you're gonna eat it. So I ate 3 bites last night.
I find chocolate to be basic.
Chocolate is basic. See, I don't like my ice cream to have stuff in it.
I want it to have peanut butter in it. What is the problem with that?
You have a peanut butter allergy.
Fuck my fucking life right down.
I believe those millennials.
Chronic illness. You haven't worked since September, and now I'm fucking allergic to peanuts. Are you kidding me?
That's like me being allergic
Next
to
you'll
handsome.
tell me my parents don't love me.
They love you in their own abandoning way.
In their own
wish. No, I
conspiring against me kind of way.
No, I don't think they can. Well, I don't know what they do. I would love to clear the air.
I don't know. When somebody drags my daughter across the house by their throat, I don't normally invite them to Christmas, but what do I know?
It's very true, folks.
Traumatizing your children.
Somebody abuses your daughter physically.
Maybe you don't invite them.
Maybe you don't. I don't know. It's just
anyway.
But that's getting super personal.
I'm gonna get sued. I don't have anything.
Well, it happened.
Sue me against
all those things happened.
You could sue me against the inheritance that I've already been written out of for being a bad daughter. Anyway,
you won't get the melted canoe.
While we're on a negative topic today, and we seem like we're going into a downward spiral. We're about to fight it out.
But we're laughing, so that's a good medicine.
That's all we do is laugh. We laugh. The more inappropriate it is, the more horrible it is. The more we laugh about it, the more we joke about it, which is kind of a problem for me, but or it's probably a problem for the world. Fortunately, we I guess fortunately or unfortunately, we don't really have that many followers as of yet. So I will not be voted out of the island, I guess, as it were. I want to be voted off the island though, because the world has gone to shit.
I just came up with a promotional idea for the podcast. A local church here in Cape Coral, they hire a helicopter to drop candy in a field, and the kids run out and get the candy on the field. I think we load that bad boy up with some leaflets. Say, watch a podcast. They used to do it during the war. Leaflet campaign.
I'm looking for new
23. You don't think the leaflet campaign?
No.
They have candy and a podcast.
I don't have the patience for you tonight.
What's more than that?
I do not have the patience
Fine.
for you tonight.
All right. Go ahead.
You're gonna pollute.
My what?
You're gonna pollute.
It's
we don't know how we
soy ink.
We haven't even spent the $20 on a ring camera, ring light, because we don't want to spend any money. But we're gonna hire a helicopter with leaflets.
Well, no, they're already going up. That's why I'm saying we're piggybacking on the candy thing, on the goodwill of the children.
We're gonna go to the nice church people who we screamed at the other day.
You screamed at.
I screamed. I
took
general.
the flyer. Well, I don't know if it's the same church people that are.
I think that they're all friends, all the church people. I think all the church people are friends, and we've offended them, and I don't think that we want to put pamphlets with candy, because this is definitely not a show for children.
And then they'll tune in and they'll
hear
about.
Your children watch this show.
Yeah, do not.
I need to just apologize in advance, because you do not know what I'm going to talk about, and I'm definitely going to drop an F-bomb. And 1 week we talked about furry tail butt plugs.
Yeah, and we talked about.
We always talk about vaginas and penises and all the sex things, like
abuse and pedophilia.
Well, see, now you shouldn't probably put those in the same sentence.
Well, we talk. Well, they've all been on the 10 podcast.
They have all been on it. As a matter of fact, we're going to go back through the podcast and put intros on them with the topic, with a quote of the episode in it. So every episode, there's something I say that's bizarre. If you guys see something I say that's bizarre on this podcast, or Doug says it's bizarre, please let us know so we can quote ourselves in the thumbnail, because we really have to get to making the smaller clips for everybody.
Right. Or if you just like a good boob jiggle. She's got you covered.
Yeah, I don't think I jiggled my boobs at all.
No,
I think you pretended to jiggle your boobs, but you don't.
I did, but that wasn't a lot of fun.
So yeah, there's that. Okay, so unemployment.
Unemployment.
Just catch them up.
Well, obviously, I've been on the phone with unemployment.
You lost your job in September.
Lost my job in September. Called them in September. Yes. So I got some severance, but I didn't get it for a month and a half. So I call unemployment, fill the gap, whatever. Find out I signed into Florida. They said, go to Massachusetts. Massachusetts will give you more money, all this stuff. So I've been fighting with not only Florida to rescind my inquiry and Massachusetts, which I have been told that I was approved for. It never happened. Severance came and went, whatever. I haven't received a dime. So I've been on the phone with them ever since September, probably at least once every other week, if not every week, and sometimes twice a week. Today's call, however, I went on the portal. I see that.
Well, you had a call the other day that they were like, "Oh, we're escalating it."
Yeah, they were escalating.
Every call, is
everything's
like
an escalation.
It's one step forward, two steps back. One step forward, two steps back.
So I'll get off one call thinking I'm all set. Right, this is making progress. Should have money in my account in a couple days, and then I call back because I don't get the money in my account, and then it's like, oh, this is bad, so it's gone back and forth, and it's been that way with Florida and Massachusetts. So today, anyways, the length of my call today was 2.5 hours.
You seem like you were having a good time, though. I heard you laughing more than once.
I was laughing. I was making the jokes.
Were you at the point where you were just like the day that I sprained my ankle, and I was like laughing hysterically for a good half hour?
It was like
we
that.
Just can't take it anymore. Or that
but I do
recent phone call we got on a late Saturday night, and I just couldn't stop laughing hysterically because the whole thing was so fucking absurd.
It's terrible. So, anyways, today I think what it was is I was sort of laughing at the absurdity, and I take joy in every time somebody gets on the phone telling them how many calls I've had and how nobody's really helped me until that call, trying to butter them up. But I do take, throw some other folks under the bus, and in my own subtle way, saying that nobody's been able to do this in September. So, anyways,
so you hyping up the person that you're calling?
Yeah, when I get on, I hype them up.
I haven't had a good experience, but I have a feeling today insert name of representative will be the person who helped me. But I would also have a list of all the names of all the people I spoke with.
Some are good, some not so good.
That's what I always say. Hang up. If you call customer service and you have someone that's shitty, don't be rude to them. Just be like, okay, thank you very much. Hang up. Call back, get somebody else.
We've had people from customer service recently that we invited to watch the podcast.
Was it Amanda?
Well, there was Amanda
from Waste Pro. Woohoo! No, Anita never got a shit.
Anita,
it was Amanda.
Amanda
all the way.
swung that hammer.
And it was funny because Amanda from Waste Pro, we had written this, and one of my friends commented, and they said that Amanda was the only useful person at that office.
It's good to know.
It was funny because Waste Pro wanted me to put a Google review, and I'm like, I had to call you guys 5 times for this.
Yeah.
If I'm going to give a positive review to anybody, it's going to be Amanda and no one else. Because where the fuck were you?
I would like to write in the Google review that the guy pulled up out front, lifted it up, decided it was too heavy, got back in the truck and left. and he had a buddy with him.
It was actually the length.
It was the
length. To be a certain length. But the fact that they were out like 4 times.
Yeah.
And it never got taken. And of course, we have very strict regulations on our lease, both and the town of Cape Coral. Cape Coral is like a goddamn HOA. I know people are moving to Florida in droves. I would not recommend Cape Coral. That's just me. I find it to be too crowded. The town is like a goddamn HOA, and And we don't have a beach. You have to leave to go to the beach.
Well, the other thing too is you can't have a sofa out there for more than a day and a half. But you can drop candy in leaflets from a helicopter.
There's no leaflets in the helicopter. But I don't like that the people. I think I'm gonna just make a daily announcement about this. I hate when people show up here unannounced. Just send me a fucking text message. 5 minute head up. 5 minutes. You cannot believe the world of difference that will occur in my life in 5 minutes. I will be mentally prepared for you. That means when you come to the door, I'm not going to be startled and scream my fucking head off. I might have clothes on. I'm probably not going to have a bra on because let's face it, that's too much.
It's a weekday.
But when was the last time I wore a bra?
I couldn't tell you.
My armpits, honestly, I don't know if you can see it from there, but they're basically like tits. They're the size of like most women's tits. My tits are the size of most people's heads.
There it is.
But my
There's the big
armpits are like the size of like little people tits.
Because of what?
Not like little people like midgets or dwarves, but like people with small breasts. They're perky though.
And why do you have that? Those are your lymph nodes.
Well, I don't think your lymph nodes are supposed to help, clean your body.
But I don't think you explained why your armpits had tits.
Because I have a chronic illness, and then they suck. So I try not to wear bras because they back you up. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but if you're as hoisted as boobalicious as I am, the harnessing that goes into a bra for me is like the goddamn Zakem Bridge suspension.
Cables.
Zakem Bridge, Boston reference.
Cantilevers.
Yeah, well, it's there's like 4 or 5 hooks.
Oh,
He doesn't ever undoes my bra. Are we fucking kidding?
You kidding? It comes off on the way home in the Jeep, and you hand it to me.
I've handed it to you,
and it's gonna fly out of the Jeep.
I handed it to you at bingo.
You've handed it to me.
We're gonna actually
movie
you'll
theaters.
be holding on to it, and the wind is gonna catch it, and we're gonna catch flight in the Jeep one of these days.
And then we'll drop our own leaflets.
Not to be concerned, we're not dropping leaflets. It's bad for the environment. But not to be confused with the day that the bird hit the Jeep on our way to go see Huddy
on Alligator Alley. Boom! We had to hit that bird right in the dead center of that Jeep, and the Jeep windshield is like almost straight up and down.
I think Florida actually dings you for glass claims.
I think they do because we had them.
We haven't. Our rates actually went down because we switched insurance companies. We started with a local place, and I really liked the chick, but then there was that whole problem where like one of the kids was still on the insurance, and they wanted me to prove that the kid didn't live with us. I'm like, how do you want me to prove that the kid lives in another state?
Show you being sad.
Like, I don't even know what to tell you. It was a whole thing. So she was helpful. I really wanted to use them. I'm still using them for renter's insurance, but we had to save some money on our auto insurance. Our renter's insurance is paid in full for the year, but we will be revisiting that come November. Hopefully things have turned around by then.
Hopefully by then.
Because we saw a cute house on, what street was that today? 42nd?
Southeast, something. 42nd, 43rd, something like that. All the streets down here are numbered or named.
All the same.
Like, so we live on, I don't want to give out our address, but we live on Place.
Southwest Santa Barbara Place. There's 5 million
So
of them.
it's southwest, so there's a northeast. So there's 8 million
But
of
there's
these
Place,
places,
Road, Street,
roads,
Avenue for all of them. There's Terrace.
And
there's North, like, so you'll have like 10th Street, Northwest, Southwest. I miss Situate, where streets were named creative things like Beaver Dam Road.
In
Old
Jamiroquai,
Oak and
Lincoln.
Bucket. That's Mordecai Lincoln.
Jamiroquai, Lincoln.
We call it Jamiroquai Lincoln.
That's got to take off.
If you happen to live in North Situate, there's a road called Mordecai Lincoln. We call it Jamiroquai Lincoln, and we always listen to Jamiroquai while we drive down it. And take it nice and slow there. I know it's a good way to avoid the light, but it's a residential neighborhood. Take it nice and slow. And we got moving boxes from one of the guys that lived in that neighborhood, and then we shared those moving boxes with other friends of ours who happened to be one of our friends' teachers, and we became friendly with them. Very nice people.
So we're nice. And Mordecai Lincoln Jamiroquai Lincoln has a nice scenic creek.
Jamiroquai Lincoln, conveniently located right near former Situate Harbor Chiropractic, now known as Vitamin C Chiropractic,
and
serving
Salontage.
all of you. I'm getting there.
Okay.
Now serving all of your, I guess it's
mobile chiropractic needs.
Mobile chiropractic needs on the east coast of Florida. Highly recommend them. But if you're in North Situate, you also have access to the lovely Anderson Fuel. Those guys do great work.
A-Fuel.
And, of course, our favorite Salontage, which is owned by our good friend Tanya. And they do a great job there. And I am very, very particular about hair. Actually, I want to talk about hair.
Oh, let's talk about hair.
So on the Cape Coral page today, this woman is asking. So she had this Karen haircut. Like, it was like an ultra Karen haircut from like 1998. And, I don't mean to make fun of people, but like and I didn't say this on the page, but I'm like, seriously, like, your problem is not. She wanted to know. She's back home, so she's new to Florida,
right.
or or a snowbird. I think she's new here. She said back home she paid $70 to get her hair done. And this was a short haircut.
Yep.
Pixie cut. Like, I probably go through do it with a razor, but the styling, it takes a little while. It's very piecey, and then she has some foils on it. She said she has it capped. I don't know anybody who does a cap anymore. They look like shit. I don't know the last time I saw a cap, and it's terrible for the hair. Terribly damaging.
Is that where they put the cap on and pull the hair out?
Yeah, and they yank it out.
Like back in the day.
I actually had somebody do it to my hair once when my hair was long, and they just ripped it right through not good for the hair, not good for the integrity of the hair. So normally we do, for
so
dimensional highlight, you do a foil or a balayage.
Sure.
And or color blocking. Like there's a lot of different techniques out there that you can do. And so this woman had this. So she had a a cap, and she had a haircut and a style. So like, she wanted to pay $70, and she's like there. And then people were chiming in that these are New York prices. I'm like, these are not New York prices. Like you can get it
for a color and a cut. That does not sound like a lot of money to me.
That's yeah. And so it was funny because I'm like, okay, first of all, your stylist, and I want to this is just like a PSA for everybody. Hairstylists, unless they're an owner, and then the owner, of course, has to carry overhead and insurance and all that crap. And of course, they're assuming the risk. But most stylists are either renting a chair and they have to pay for that space, or they're on commission, and that means that they get 50% of what they do. Sometimes there's an overhead taken the commission for the products used, meaning color or back bar or whatever. But by and large, that's where they're making their money. And they usually don't make much, if anything, on retail, although you should use professional products in your hair.
Like I do.
It might help you do. And I won't wash my floors with that shit.
Oh.
But anyway, so I explained that not only the stylists, like $70, that's a 2-hour process minimum, even with a cap. If you're fast with a cap, you got a consult. Now she's doing the same thing every time since 1998. So the consult is pretty much, oh, do you still want to look like a Karen? Oh, cool. Here we go. And so then we have to put the cap on. We pull through the cap. You have to have processing time. Judging by that woman's hair, you're looking at least 40 minutes of processing time. Even if you process with heat, which technically you're not supposed to do. And then you've got to cut and style, which the style probably took her, the cut, and the style probably took her another half hour or hour. So you're looking at least 2.5 hours of time.
Yeah.
What is your stylist time worth? So, okay, so here we are. Your stylist is now, you're 2.5 hours into this service, and she pays her $70. She wanted to pay under $100, but we'll give it $100 because it's round numbers. And, let's say you're not entirely cheap. $100 for 2.5 hours. How does that math even work out? 50, what's that, like $37 an hour?
Yeah, 30-ish.
$30 an hour, but they only get half of that. So that means that they're getting $15 an hour. And then add to that the fact that they have no health insurance, no benefits. They're paying for all that out of pocket. They take a day off, they take vacation, they're losing money. And so then, of course, I was like, so, do you want these people to have a living wage? Do you actually care about these people? Like, maybe you can't afford such a high-maintenance hairstyle. Like, if you can't afford a high-maintenance hairstyle...
Get some dreads.
Get dreadlocks. Do them yourself. You can do them yourself. You can't... Like, I'll walk you through how to do a simple haircut. But don't go to a salon if you can't afford to go to the salon. Don't fuck with these people's money. Don't fuck with their time. And tip them generously. So here's the bitch of it. She circles back in, and she's like, I can't believe all the rude comments here. Mind you, I reserved my comment about how terrible the hair was and how I would never let somebody leave my chair looking like that in this day and age. I didn't let anybody leave my hair looking like that in that day and age, but that's beside the point. Oh, boy. I said, she chimed in. She was like, oh, it's my friend, and she had low overhead and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, if it's your fucking friend...
Oh, then you
do everything you can to support that business. You plug them as much as you can. You refer them as much business as you can. And don't get me wrong, like there's been times where I've been broke and I've bartered with friends. Like we've bartered with branding services for chiropractic or branding services for, actually usually we just help our friends out for free because we're a bunch of suckers. But we do, my friend who owns Vitamin C Chiropractic, she's treated me for free, and Doug gives her branding for free. So we swap off. And then
you saw the shiny van last night.
Although there was a long time there where there was a while where she treated me for free, and there was a while when my insurance covered it.
Yep.
So we just always try to we just want to work for the benefit of everybody. So even when I wasn't in a position where I could go out of pocket, we took care of each other, and be it the referrals, because even just referring to your friend's business helps them tremendously. Like if you share this podcast, you like this podcast, you comment on this podcast, you share the YouTube, anything you do to interact with us or tell people about us helps us out. So, if you can, that'd be great. But, help all small business owners, because, when your kid's little league team needs a sponsor, it's not going to be Best Buy. It's going to be...
It's going to be Joe's... Chandler Exxon. It'll be Chandler Exxon.
I don't know what the hell Chandler Exxon is.
That was the team that George played for when he was...
Okay, what I was talking about was like what business would actually sponsor you. Like, for example, Salon Taj, Vitamin C Chiropractic are both companies that would sponsor, local events. And so, and I know for a fact that both have sponsored quite a bit within the local community, and I'm really actually really proud of both of them. I'm really proud of, and of course we have friends that own Carol Ann's in Hingham, which is a great little boutique. If you need a communion gown, a christening gown, that is the place to go.
And if you're an adult and need a communion gown and want to just do some funky stuff with it,
they don't have that.
They don't have. It won't fit.
It's not that kind of place.
Okay.
Unless you're a particularly small human being, in which case rock out.
There's some silly, teeny, whatever. They have you covered. Do with it what you will.
So I said to her, you should be doing extra, and so, if it's your friend, you do more for them.
Yeah.
You refer them more business. So, I think that's I don't know. It's just me on my soapbox today. Oh, and if you're in the general Cape Cod area, I have a friend who does hair, and Darcy, she's fantastic. We actually went to beauty school together. She graduated before me. And
because she was smarter.
I think you can actually bring your kid when you get your hair done by Darcy,
oh.
which is convenient for if you're a mom with little ones, because...
Do you hold the kid on the lap and then the cape goes over the kid?
No, I think
the
it's
kid's
just
not
like
even
bedlam
there?
because she's got kids too, and so I think that everybody... But it depends. Like, I think during the day, kids are home. Like, I don't know, but I know that she's really flexible, and I know that she does beautiful work. She has great energy, and quite honestly, the best shampoo I've ever had in my life. But her shampoo, it's like, when Darcy shampoos your hair, I'm going to have to tell her we talked about her tonight, but when Darcy shampoos your hair, it's like that scene in Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore when they're like doing the thing. Like, they don't. She doesn't make your hair look like a dick. I mean, maybe she does. You can't tell because you're at the sink. She might make my hair look like a dick, but realistically, she's gonna kill me. She does like this slow
thing. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm not really good with slowness in general, but she's got this good vibe about her, and she does great work. She's a master colorist. She does a great cut. She's been doing it for over 20 years. I know she's taking a little break starting next week. I think she's taking 2 weeks off, but she's...
Well, other than that, she's your girl.
She's fantastic. I wanted her to get into doing dreads because there's basically nobody in Massachusetts who does it. So if I have any stylist friends in Massachusetts, Jenna, hello, you, Darcy, get into doing them, because you have to go all the way either up to Liz Kidder up in, I think she's in New Hampshire now. She was in Amesbury, now she's in New Hampshire, and you can go to Connecticut to Limelight, to Kayla. Kayla's excellent. There was Raging Roots in Connecticut. I think they closed, and so yeah, there's definitely a need. Down here, we've got a lot more options, but I highly recommend Taylor at Manifest. She's the owner. Speaking of another female-owned business, but not that it matters. Like, we'll shop at your business. We don't care what color you are, what your gender is, what your sexual preference is. We just want to shop and support small local businesses as much as we can. And it's hard because a lot of the stuff, between me being a goddamn shut-in and and being broke, like, we're not really doing a ton to support businesses, but we can talk about your business. So if you're here, and you have a business that we can promote, we're happy to do it, at least until we start whoring ourselves out.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, our friends get our help for free, and they don't even know it sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, last night I was talking about you. So anyway, there's that. So we were going to talk about. So you got your unemployment story.
So I don't know if I actually finished it, but it was a 2.5. It was a 2.5 hour call. I looked on my online portal. I went back, and there was like a monetary thing, and I'm like, oh, that's new. So I call him up, boom, boom, boom. 2.5 hours later, I sat with the woman, and we went week by week from September to now, and figured some stuff out. And it was like super dicey because I only worked in Mass for that last quarter, and then if they predated or posted, it would have screwed the whole thing up. So,
well, and then of course we thought money was coming out that wasn't.
Yeah, and
it was just,
and they told me it was coming in, and
it's been a fucking nightmare. So we would like it to end because that would help relieve our stress level, which is not. Actually, our stress level has not been great. If you want any custom crocheting done or crochet lessons, my local friend Cindy, actually, she's down here in the Cape Coral area. I think she's actually in Fort Myers, but I could be wrong. So my friend Cindy, she does crochet lessons as well as custom crochet work. Maybe you need a baby gift. Who the hell wants to buy another thing off the baby registry?
Yeah, get them something
handmade
good.
Blanket.
Yeah, handmade something.
Especially my friends up in New England. That's something they'll have forever. Christening's coming up. A beautiful handmade white blanket for the christening.
Yeah.
That's something they would keep for generations, maybe give to their friends. She's actually in Cape Coral, so, but you know, find something that you like, and you know, send Cindy a picture, tell her you want it. What else we got? Okay, so the businesses. We've got a couple watchers tonight. Of course, our loyal friend Todd. We love you. We got 4. I can't see who the other ones are, but I can see.
They have to comment for us to see them.
Yeah, if you say hi, we'll give you a shout out. But if you don't say hi,
I have a little something for Cindy. My grandmother used to crochet, and she used to crochet this little frog. And in it was like a pocket, so you put the Ivory soap in the frog, throw the frog in the tub for the kids, and the Ivory soap floats, so this floating frog would be, and it was like built in like a washcloth, so you could just wash yourself with it. That's a story from Doug Gear and his grandma, who was born in the 1800s. Crocheting, the art of crocheting, and making stuff. That's a pretty good memory. I don't think a lot of other people had frogs floating around with Ivory soap.
I don't really crochet, but I do a little knitting.
Well, you did a little knitting, and I discourage you from knitting from now on because...
So I maybe once made a scarf that looked like a whale's dick, then I tried to knit a blanket for my friend's dying mother and grandmother and Mataji, and I tried really, really hard to make one of those chunky blankets.
Night and day
I'm giving it to you. I'm going to pass it off.
Night and day you worked on
I wanted to make this chunky blanket. I got the big knitting needles. I got the chunkiest yarn I could find. And I didn't really check it as I went, and so Doug pulls it off. So
we're done.
We get the call.
Yeah,
she's gonna die at any minute. I'm like, well, I'd like you to bring this down for her anyway. Our friend's leaving Virginia. He swings by our house on his way there to get this item, this blanket that I made. And Doug takes it off the needles.
I take it off the needles and I walk it back across the bedroom, and essentially it was about two feet wide and about 60 feet long. It was a tennis net.
It was literally a tennis net, the same dimensions, like the holes, like the same size as a tennis net, like a ball.
Looked exactly like it.
And our friend said he would do something with it. I think he burned it. He's like, I had it cremated with my mom. I shouldn't laugh about her passing because it was devastating to the family. But you know, quite frankly, that he shouldn't. You know, that this is.
It was the thought.
Really, it was the thought. I worked very hard, and I worked like a maniac on it because I wanted my friend to have it, and it was terrible.
But we pulled the thing. We pulled the thing out, and we just couldn't help but we bust out laughing. And then it was like, what'd you do? Make a blanket for Abe Lincoln?
He lived. So at the time, I think. I don't know if he lived in North Situate yet. I think
no, not yet. No.
Was he still on?
No. He was in North Situate.
But like on his way out of town, like you have to drive by our house anyway. We're about 5 minutes.
So we bagged it up.
I'm leaving, and he's telling me he's on his way over, and I'm like, that's me knitting, by the way. That's why it comes out so terrible. So that's what happens when I knit. So maybe Cindy will. I'd love to knit those little animals that people do and stuff. Like I'd love to do all the stuff from Labyrinth. That would be so cool.
What about those little toilet paper cozies that people used to have?
Yes, hell yeah.
Little toilet paper
actually, so there's a whole thing now. Like people are moving toward maximalism in terms of home decor, whereas they want things to express their true feelings. But it's weird because like for me, it's like I think of maximalism in like our style and how we have like ridiculous stuff. Like we have a piano that was converted into a bookshelf. Thank you, Bobby Brown. Top shelf woodworking. And then we have a lot of stuff we bought off Marketplace. Thank you, Vicky, for Areola. The coffee table we have that is a mermaid who does not have any areolas. She only has nipples.
Just like Bink.
That's
the noise nipples make, by the way, Bink.
We have a dolphin table. We have a coffee table that we bought off Marketplace that has a grammatical error in it. We make you find it when you come over. And let's see. We have ridiculous photos of our friends. We have one ridiculous photo of our friend mowing a lawn. Like, I had a friend who's dying. He's in hospice. His lawn is about this high. My other friend came up to help, and he was mowing the lawn. He got the Husqvarna going. It was a whole thing. I'll have to do a whole Lenny episode at some point. And he got the Husqvarna going, and he's mowing the lawn. And this guy is like out for a walk. This kid, Chinese guy, and not that it matters, but it was with this little kid. And they're walking, and they just stopped and stood there and watched him for like
mow the grass.
20 minutes. They just stood in place.
So of course, wise ass Doug sees this and takes a picture of it,
blows it up,
and gives a canvas print to our little friend.
And he decided we should have it, so it's on our.
But
wall.
It brings us joy because Yeah, they were so fascinated. They're watching him going back and forth. Of course, I would stop too because that grass was like a good 3 feet high, and he's mowing it.
It was a pretty good ad for Husqvarna,
it was,
to be honest with
it
you.
was.
And he'd had problems with the Husqvarna, like battery issues and whatnot, that people were supposed to fix, and we had no trouble addressing those issues. So I don't know what the hell their problem was.
There you go.
I feel good that we saved his life, and I will tell that story.
And we got a
another
funny
time
picture out of the deal
about my pervy old friend and how he is since passed on, and. I'm glad I saved his life, but sometimes I don't enjoy him. Yeah. I don't have always the best memories of him.
I was also thinking
I have sucker written across my forehead.
No, you don't. And when it's
yes, you do.
I was just thinking about other photo things that we had done for our friends, and our friend Donna, who we love.
The Hammer story.
No, well, I'm not going to tell the Hammer story, but
we're going to have to have Donna
Christmas,
on for the Hammer story.
I photoshopped Donna's face into famous photos and people and things of that nature, and made a bound photo book for Christmas for Donna. And
well, that's the thing, though.
I wish I had one made for myself because it was the funniest thing ever.
Well, they had a really rough year. Doug wanted to do something.
Yeah, I was trying to cheer her up.
So he made this woman, Donna, who's a friend of ours, and she's adorable. I don't even know how to describe it. She reminds me of Gizmo.
Oh, the little thing
from
the
cute
Gremlin.
little Mogwai from Gremlins the one that didn't get wet.
Yeah.
Or Eat After Midnight, the nice one. And she reminds me of Gizmo. I don't know why, but she's just the cutest thing. So Doug made her look like Donald Trump.
Oh well, there was a picture
Cher
of
and Kim Jong Un.
Donald Trump and Kim Jong Un.
And so I made her both.
So I put him into Donald Trump. Put her into Donald Trump, and I'm like, oh wait. Put her into both. It was outstanding.
Amazing. But the funny thing is, we've had a couple of questions that we've asked the audience that we haven't got answers on. For example, no one has figured out what I got my varsity letter in high school, and we have a prize for that person. And what that prize will be is a fucked up Photoshop of your choice.
And then, well, yeah, actually, that's a good prize. I was actually maybe our next contest to me. What was my favorite letter in high school? Because I didn't earn a letter. So I'll just say what my favorite letter in high school.
Because you were getting the D? Oh, wait, no, you're straight.
I wasn't getting the D. Yeah.
That wasn't until college.
Oh, my God.
Art school? I'm saying that, okay, your son and I have discussed this.
Okay.
And you should try it. You should try being gay. You don't know until you've tried it.
I'm pretty sure.
But it was actually a conversation Nolan and I had in Costco. He's like, you mean he's never tried being with a man? I'm like, no, I don't know.
That's odd that kids nowadays would think that's like commonplace, which I guess is a good thing, right?
I fucking love Nolan. He's so cute. He's like, he's never tried it. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Your dad needs a signed consent form, a letter from your pastor before he's going to touch you. He's not that guy. Although you were kind of pushy on our third date.
Oh. No, I don't think I was.
You were pushy.
I was just friendly.
Friendly.
Oh, I knew you were the one.
He was. Oh, that's why you were reaching up my skirt in the parking lot.
I did no such thing.
He definitely reached up my skirt in the parking lot of the Bass Pro Shop on our third date. And there
was a fly. I was trying to get the fly.
There's definitely probably a video at the Bass Pro Shop.
Of that.
Of some old people going at it in a Volvo S60.
If somebody can procure that video, I will fess up to all my nonsense that took place on our date.
See, this is the problem: is if this podcast takes off, somebody is going to pull that up, and I have no problem with people watching me go to town on your ass. But I don't know that you're going to feel that way since you didn't even want to invite people to watch the podcast.
Well, I mean, I have dead people on my list of friends.
Dude, I don't want to invite everyone in my friend group is invited, and some of them are people that I genuinely respect in the community. It's just funny how I say it. Some of them are people that I genuinely respect.
Respect in the community.
It's not that I don't respect you if I joke around with you and say inappropriate things around you. It just means I feel comfortable around you. But I have some people that are older than me that are like, people that I refer to as Mr. and Mrs. or, that are upstanding members of the community. And I feel like a certain obligation to, not say fuck in front of them.
Yeah.
Yet here we are, and yet I do. So I am both a terrible person and terrible at this. We have 5 viewers, so I don't know. Oh, you're probably one of the viewers.
Oh.
But I don't know what the awful memory was.
I don't know. All of them.
Probably all of them. The blanket might be an awful memory. So we were going to talk. So we were talking about. I want to talk about the Rife machine.
Oh.
Plug.
Rife machines. Well, electrocute yourself.
Called the Rife machine.
In the name of health.
It's actually part of holistic treatment. It was invented by Raymond Royal Rife. There's several versions of it out there, and then there's similar machines like the Healy similar, the Biocharger similar. But basically, then there's this new med bed thing that's similar. So basically it works on frequencies. It looks like a little speak and spell. I have a speak and spell story to tell you that relates to my friend Darcy, but that's for another day, because today we're going to talk about my grandparents' sex life and The Handmaid's Tale. So it looks like a speak and spell. You have these little straps. Sorry. They go on your hands and feet. And you're like a little puppet. There's a book. And
it's a marionette.
The book has these codes. Teeny tiny print codes. The whole freaking book. Sorry, that wasn't a code. So the whole thing in teeny tiny font. So I guess that the codes start at page. The codes start pretty far in, actually.
I noticed that you highlighted the syphilis code.
I did not highlight the syphilis code, although Lyme is it's a cousin of syphilis. So they start on page 59, the codes, and go all the way to 129. So I don't know how many. That's 70 pages. But how many would you say there are per page?
Oh, at least 30. At least.
So each line is a code for a different ailment. So
maybe 40.
If you pick an ailment, so say you have
pick an ailment. Anybody in the crowd?
Say you have cat eye syndrome.
Cat eye syndrome?
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
I'm gonna pop my cat eyes in.
Nobody did guess that. If you get that reference,
if you get that
we'll
reference,
give you a prize.
Yeah.
Okay, so cat diseases. There's a lot of things I can't pronounce. Floppy mitral valve.
Oh.
Whatever the hell that is.
That's in the heart. The
Frigidity.
Frigidity? You can shock yourself into Bonerland.
Fungus diseases.
Ooh.
German measles. So anyway, today I did 3 hours of rifing. I've been doing it more and more. I did 3 hours of rifing today. I did 2 for gastroparesis and 1 for parasites. So I did gastro, parasites, gastro, and I don't think that's why I was tired today, because I didn't sleep for shit last night. But I don't know. I think it's helping. This is the Rife Pro. It's about $800, give or take. There's also the Spooky 2, which you can work through your PC, which is a couple $100.
Oh. Why didn't we get that one?
Again, I'm hearing, because you have to have a PC, and we'd have to have a dedicated PC because we're Mac people. And then, but the Healy looks nice because you can just wear that shit, like walk around the house. You can't do that without one. You gotta do that on.
Strap.
And technically, I don't think you're supposed to use electronics, which is funny. Today I was baked off my ass using it, and so what happens is like it's frequencies, right? So if you put it in the there's probably one in there for bipolar. I'd bet money that there's a setting for bipolar. Somebody mentioned bipolar in the comments. The bands, don't put them on your wrist. I did that the first time. You get little zaps. It's not good, and not like 10s unit zaps, like like a 10s unit's another fantastic device. It stimulates your muscles. They use it a lot at PT. I have one. It's great for pain. But that shock actually feels good. This does not feel good. So anyway, you want to make sure you put it on your palms and the soles of your feet, and you just kind of hang out with it. So today I had to take cannabis oil as soon as I woke up this morning. Woke up, meaning I didn't really sleep last night, so I took it around 5. I took cannabis oil, and then I just took it again at 7. So I probably should have done 5 and 5, but that's why I'm a little miserable right now. But I took it at 5, and then again at 7, and I was sitting there baked out of my tree watching the Handmaid's Tale, which we're going to loop back onto, and I could like literally feel, this is going to sound fucking crazy, but I could feel things happening in my body, and I could feel like almost like a humming, which is interesting because we've had that thing. Remember?
Yeah,
when you,
sometimes you touch your skin. It's like it's like a it's almost like when you rub your hands over like suede or something. It's almost like a vibrating kind of.
But
like
it has like an energy to it, and it'll make a noise. And I don't mean like a noise like a
high pitched. Yeah,
it's really weird.
Very strange.
So I've been invaded by aliens, probably.
It's possible.
Although to that end, I am treating for parasites, and most people who have chronic illness, just about everybody has parasites. I don't care who you are. I know you think you don't. Oh, blah, blah, blah. No, we all have fucking parasites. Our bodies are loaded with them. So, and of course, Lyme is in itself like a parasite, or even is a parasite. I guess it depends on who you talk to. But so it's the full moon, new moon. I usually feel worse. So what I've been trying to do is hit parasites hard during the moon phases to see if that'll help at all. I just want to not suffer every day. That's really my only goal. I'd like to just not want to die all the time. And it's actually really funny because today you were like, if this Massachusetts unemployment does not come through, I'm going to kill myself. And I said, dibs. And that's actually the interesting thing about it is like, to circle back, yesterday we talked about The Handmaid's Tale, and I'm like, I don't know, sometimes it doesn't seem like that would be that bad. And it seems similar to my own life, and it's like, that seems dramatic, like to say that The Handmaid's Tale is your life. Well, I was a victim of sexual assault, and I was molested as a child. So yeah, you got that. But the bigger thing is like, so since getting sick, and it's been 10 years, I'm basically like a prisoner all the time. Like I don't have an Aunt Lydia, but I am forced to be home, to not be able to do things, to be completely dependent on Doug. So it fucking sucks. And then like, if you mouth off in The Handmaid's Tale, they're gonna kill you, or like, I'm just gonna
hang you at Fenway.
I'm cool. I'm cool with that. Like, please put me out of my misery. We got a fancy fucking bird.
That's a fancy bird right there.
It's a fancy fucking bird.
Could be an ibis. We have ibis.
Is the plural of ibis ibi?
Ibises.
I don't know. Anyway, so we're watching The Handmaid's Tale, but it's funny because the way that they shoot that show, it's very well done. If you haven't watched it and you want to be really depressed, and also you think, oh wow, the world's not bad enough as it is, where is it going to go next? Watch The Handmaid's Tale. And so the thing that's interesting about it is that we've had all of these like dystopian television shows. We just recently watched the Hunger Games again, the first one. We haven't watched all of them. The Hunger Games, Walking Dead, which I know you hate. And you hate Handmaid's Tale, but the reality is that they're starting to feel like really close to reality.
Yeah, so that's why I think especially it's not appealing.
See, I find them to be like a cautionary tale. I'm like, what should do next? So anyway, I'm watching it, and I'm high off my ass, so I'm coming up with all these just different like thoughts about the whole fucking thing. And then today I was like trying to look at it from like, so I have trouble following television shows because my neuro is so bad. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll watch the same show, a few times. And every time, obviously you catch something new and there's new nuances, but this time I watched it, and I've been watching it trying to see it from the eyes of Gilead, which is like the bad guys. But like they are like obviously fucked up beyond fucked up sake, but these people are desperate to have children. And I realize like, there's no limit to what we would do for our kids. None.
No.
If we couldn't have had kids, we both have kids, but separately. If we couldn't have had kids, I don't know what that would have been like. And sometimes I think about it just because of, my current circumstances. Like, would I have gotten sick if I didn't have so much stress in my life? Or like, what if I had taken better care of myself and I wasn't burnt out all the time and chasing 4 kids around by myself? I wonder about it. But I don't know, like for me, like I think that they're such an important part of life, and I had like wanted to be a traditional wife. Like that was the plan, was to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to homeschool my kids, and it didn't work out that way. And so I can see like, as much as there's absolutely nothing redeeming about what these people are doing, like if you understand why people are doing the fucked up shit they do, again, this is a television show. If you understand why people do the fucked up shit they do and you listen to them, you have an opportunity to possibly change their mind. And so I'm not saying that you're changing the mind of a corrupt government. It's like, then at the same time I'm watching and I'm thinking to myself about all the things that are happening in our government that seem a little too close, especially with like the COVID lockdowns and how news has been filtered and silenced. And my personal page, I shared a lot of information about my concerns about the COVID vaccine. I shared a lot of information about how COVID was supposed to be treated, and how we needed vitamin D and all of that stuff. But I got silenced, and so even to this day, like now, this comes up low on your feed. I've even considered starting a whole new Facebook page to start over again, even though I have like 3,500 followers. I've been doing this since the beginning of Facebook. because Facebook is silencing me because they don't like what I have to say. And all these social media companies are doing it. And there's a bill pending now. It might be 665. I can't remember. And it basically will allow the federal government to have access to any platform with over 100,000 subscribers. They'll be able to access your computers. They'll be able to access your Facebook. They'll be able to access your emails, anything on your devices, which they're already fucking doing via the Patriot Act. And if you haven't seen it, I highly suggest watching Snowden. I know Doug is not a conspiracy nut like myself. But,
well, certain conspiracies I like, but anyway.
But
not all.
Did you watch Snowden with me?
I did. I watched it. Well, no, I didn't watch it with you. I watched it after you.
And terrifying?
Not surprising, but yeah, it makes you think about it. It makes you think about everything.
So basically, the premise of the movie is this guy Edward Snowden, who's worked for the CIA and the FBI, he's being like chased after around the world right now, I think. Basically, if you have your phone, that's my little friend. You have your phone, your laptop. It doesn't even matter if it's on. They can hear you, they can see you, they can see what's happening in the room. If your laptop's closed, obviously they're not seeing out your camera, but you get a smart TV, they can see you. You got your phone. Obviously, if you have Google Homes and whatnot, they can hear everything you're saying. But your phone's listening all the time anyway. And I think everybody has noticed that by now. Like you're in there and you're talking about, I don't know, tiddlywinks, and suddenly there's tiddlywinks in your newsfeed. Actually, we're talking to my friend recently about was talking to my friend, Christina, about
tiddlywinks.
No, it was about beds for the holistic health services.
Yeah.
And we were discussing this one product that's available, and you got to tell me when I'm off the screen. We were discussing this one product that's available, and although you're like pushed into the middle of the table, and I'm like way over here.
Well, we can just.
Or slide back to my better spot.
We just did get a flamingo just floated by in the back. So.
Oh, they want some screen time too. So we were talking about this bed, and 5 minutes later it comes up in her newsfeed on her Facebook. So basically what they're saying is your phone, even when it's not on, it sees everything in the room. And they literally showed a video where you're like looking around your room, and they know what you paid for your coffee table. They know what magazines you subscribe to. They know that you have a stack of credit card offers. They know that you have a Sanyo, whatever, 350ZX television. Is that a Sanyo brand of television?
I don't know, probably is. But I do know that they do that in stores. They'll see where you go in the store, especially if you log into the Wi-Fi.
If you have their
app, and if you have the app, they'll see where you are, what time you spend there, and then they have your because of your either you have an app or a loyalty card or something. They know what you bought, so they know how to market to you.
Data is big money.
So the one thing I noticed, since we have very different political views, I notice in her feeds and in her algorithm, she gets a bunch of stuff that I never see, right? And then I see stuff that she never sees, and it's.
I don't think that you see stuff that I don't see.
I don't think I don't get the same stuff.
But I have been actively involved in activism, and I've been vocal. So because of that, I get a lot more political stuff. I do a lot of TikTok because then I get a lot of political stuff. I do a lot of I really support people. I really basically I'm a libertarian for all effective purposes. I just want everybody to be happy, to be able to do their thing, and I think that the government should be there, to provide basic services, but I want them to be as minimally involved in our lives as possible. And given what happened to friends of mine whose businesses were shut down during COVID, people I know that lost their jobs because they refused to get an experimental vaccine, people I know whose lives were irreparably altered by COVID. And like one of the things that I said throughout the whole thing was that the lockdowns were going to lead to spousal abuse, child abuse, divorce, addiction, and so forth. And, during COVID, I helped 2 families with domestic violence situations, and good luck finding any resources because everything was fucking shut down. And then, of course, we had a friend who lost a child to drugs during all of it. And of course, we had a friend who lost a child to COVID, and he had a heart condition, but it's just everything. Like, we're all doing our best, and I think that's up for us as individuals to decide what's best for us, and not the government. I certainly don't think anybody, the government comes out and endorses foods loaded with glyphosate and things that are terrible for you. I don't, and CDC recommendations and the FDA's approval of things has just been terrifying to me. Like it's corrupt as it comes. I was just looking at Pfizer just had to pay out the biggest criminal award ever for fraud, and I forget which drug it was for. There's the lizard. Do you see him? He's white.
On the glass?
He's up, not on the glass. Where the two doors meet, there's on the little, it looks like a white thing. That's a fucking lizard. He's like an albino lizard. Might be a gecko. He just moved.
I honestly don't see him.
Look at where the doors meet.
Yeah.
And look.
Oh, there he goes. Yeah, oh, there he goes.
I think it's a gecko.
Yeah.
So we have like an almost clear lizard. It's weird. It's like, it's not white.
Yeah, they're kind of translucent. They can only come out at night, so. There it goes.
And they run super cute. They're like,
they're fast too.
So anyway, The Handmaid's Tale. I
just wanted to touch on one thing. So my point was, you like the information you get, and I think the majority of people get their news from like the internet, or if they want to find something out, they'll Google it. Well, if Google doesn't want you to know about it.
No, that's what DuckDuckGo was better for a while there, but they got bought out, so I don't fucking know who you use now. I have to dig for everything.
So my thought is
Burrow is a good option.
So my thought on this is that just be careful what you believe. Just there's certain ways to get at the truth, but people are not going to give you the truth.
I have found, and I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I found TikTok to be fantastic, not because of Chinese fraud, oh, well, the Chinese are out to get to us. You mean they're doing the exact same thing the United States government has been doing? Which, P.S., I said long before Rand Paul did it. Of course, Edward Snowden said it before me. That you're getting a lot of news direct from people and stories that are being shared. Like, I didn't find out about the Paris riots or the oh God, what was it? Tel Aviv riots. Didn't find out about those on mainstream media. I found out about them on TikTok.
People eventually made the Paris thing.
Yeah, but we're getting things on TikTok and the details from TikTok.
Right.
Days, if not weeks, before on regular news. And when regular news delivers, it's a very editorialized version of what they want you to believe. Whereas when it's on TikTok and it's just like Fred in Alabama, you can look at it and take it with a shaker of salt that it's just some guy with a flip phone in Alabama. And not that they don't have smartphones in Alabama, but this guy is legitimately
flip phone.
Activate
the guy.
Oh,
the Florida guy
is amazing. I would love to have him on the podcast. It's an albino gecko. I think you're right, Cindy. She had 3 on her deck, and they scared the shit out of her. So anyway, and he's pretty long. He's got a little curly tail. But I think I think that you have to think critically about everything. Think critically about what I say. This is what I always, especially the kids. Think critically about everything. Ask questions. Ask why. And my question to always ask is, where's the money? Where's the power? Because people will do fucked up things for money and power. Well, we would do some fucked up things for money and power. Not
You'll
that
swim
fucked
in the
up,
pool.
I'll swim in the pool naked
For money. I will say this though, like via TikTok, Facebook, or even documentaries on Amazon Prime. Like anybody can go and make anything they want and say anything they want and try to convince you or whatever, because there's nobody like minding the store, especially on social media. You can have, and that's I think where a lot of the election nonsense came from in 2016, was it right? Just about how there were people making things up about and sending out bots and creating stuff that wasn't real. So there's a lot of that. I haven't had that. Like I've not had a hard time seeing through the press, because I've spent so much time picking apart what the mainstream media says. When I've been doing that long before this whole fake news thing was a thing, I've always been like, that's not a news article, that's an opinion piece. Right. And
where are the facts here? And let me find, like, I've always liked to watch 2 different programs. The one thing, and like I realize that he's a creeper and whatnot, but the thing I liked about the O'Reilly show is, as much as I certainly don't always and certainly do not often agree with Bill O'Reilly in terms of being creepy, I liked that he would have intelligent people from both sides on the debate, and he genuinely respected his guests. I didn't agree with him, but I liked that he had everybody he had on in terms of a guest I found to be intelligent, well-spoken. Whereas I think a lot of times the networks will take the biggest fucking idiot they can find that doesn't support their claim and destroy their argument, destroy their personal credibility just to make their fucking point. And that's an interesting thing, because one of the things that I've seen time and time again is, and again, back to The Handmaid's Tale, is, no, it all loops in. This is what I was thinking about today. Is that people, rather than debate you on the issue, because you generally have a valid point, what they'll do is they'll try to destroy you or your character. That's when people can't argue, they can't make an intelligent point, when they're fucking wrong. If they start attacking somebody's character, you better ask yourself, okay, but what's really going on here? Like, why are you attacking that person's character? That, like, their character is not in question. They raised a question or a concern, and you're ignoring it and attacking them personally. Why are you doing that? Like, that's some straight up, like, manipulation tactics all day long. And that's the thing that's, so the back to The Handmaid's Tale is you're watching it, and as you're watching it, it's got this overall creepy fucking vibe. Like, it's just creepy. And you watch, like, these women are basically, if you haven't watched it, it's basically the society is collapsed. We have this new very puritanical government, and nobody can get pregnant. So if you're like a bad girl, like a adulterer, or like a lesbian, or like, and again, I don't think being a lesbian
I
is
think
wrong,
you just
but
said that lesbians are bad.
I
You heard it here
say,
first.
I love lesbians. I eat pussy. To be our weekly. Not a lot, but I have. Oh God, there's people that watch this show. Anyway, you don't want to invite your people to it? Oh my fucking God.
All right, you know, on my friends list, I have such esteemed people on my friends list. Anson Williams, who was Potsy on Happy Days. I don't want him seeing this stuff. I don't want him knowing about lesbians and stuff.
What's the point of a podcast? Anyway, that's not
Donnie
the point.
Most, Ralph Mal from Happy Days. I don't think Ralphie really
I think they
is.
would find us to be entertaining.
It's possible.
Okay, so back to The Handmaid's Tale. So what they do, and I think that the government did with us during COVID, is they slowly push this upon you until it becomes normal. And if you're just watching that and not thinking about, like, the show itself, just it creeps up on you. It's like creepy, controlling, and unsettling, right? But if you recap, okay, so this is what happened in this episode. This chick, like the first episode, okay, so this chick is like a wife and mother. She had an affair. You shouldn't do that. She marries the guy, has a kid with him. They outlaw women getting birth control on their own. You have to have like a husband's signature. The state is basically parenting your children. Wonder where that might be happening today.
The express written consent of this program is not those of both hosts of this program. I would just want to say that.
Okay, well, if that's what you think, that's what you think. But I would like to finish what I was saying.
No, I just want to put that out there, because in case a job interview like watches this,
okay, whatever. So I don't know. I think a company would want somebody with a good company would want somebody with integrity, but that's beside the point. I think that so they basically take this woman, they tear her child away from her. The husband somehow manages to flee to Canada, and she's forced to have sex. A wife holds her down while the husband rapes her every month. Then he takes her to like a Jezebel colony where like he can be around hookers and stuff, and cuts the wife's finger off. Like, it's like, let's like,
which finger?
I think it was her pinky. It was her pinky.
Ooh.
But the thing is that, like, it's like how an abusive relationship starts out. Like, everything's cool at first, and it's like, oh, this is why we're going to do this. Like, oh, why we're doing lockdowns. Oh, this is why, we're censoring this information. There's a reason for it, and they just slowly ramp it up. It's like an abusive relationship, and we've had an abusive relationship, obviously, with I think we've had an abusive relationship with our government for a long time, and I think obviously for somebody like me, Operation Paperclip is particularly upsetting. Many other government projects that have proven to be harmful to Americans, and things that we blame other governments for that we in fact do. But I don't know. So I found that The Handmaid's Tale to be very germane to society and interesting. And yeah, in a lot of ways, I can relate to the handmaids and what they've been through, both because of my own personal sexual assault experience, But more importantly, because of my illness and just being trapped and not being able to do what I want to do, which is obviously not the same as like having a monthly rate, but you know. So anyway, I had the Rife on today, and I could like literally feel like my body doing weird stuff while I was watching it, and then I eventually fell asleep. And P.S. it definitely works. So if you turned into episode, I don't know, 8, was it 8? Where I talked about how I couldn't shit, or was that 7?
Oh, well, yeah, that was an ongoing thing through a few
episodes. So not
episodes.
being able to shit. So today I did the gastroparesis setting for an hour, then I did parasites, then I did another gastroparesis, and it works. So yeah, I don't get any money for sponsoring them, or not that I'm sponsoring them. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but it seems to work.
Passing it along. Seems
to be doing something. So you want to talk about my grandparents' sex life? Let's segue from The Handmaid's Tale.
Well, I don't know. I think that could be a good teaser for the next, because we're already past 9. I think the grandma's sex life is going to take a long time.
Yeah, but we promised it, and it's 9 o'clock, so
go ahead.
We're not on a time limit. We make our own schedule. We get to do what we want. I'm going to jump in the pool after this. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my dress right off, and I'm going to jump in the fucking pool, because I'm sweating to death, and I'm going to sneeze. And are the sprinklers about to go on?
Bless you.
Thank you. Is today our sprinkler night?
I don't. Thursday is.
I thought it was
you
Monday
may be
and Thursday.
allergic to albino geckos. It's a very rare allergy.
We had a gecko in the tub one night. It scared the shit out of me. Okay. My grandparents' sex life part is actually really good. So my grandmother, so my grandparents were George and Eloise, and they've been dead for years. And as long as I know, they slept in twin beds, and apparently sometimes the beds would be pushed together. But they eventually moved into separate rooms because my grandfather snored like you couldn't believe. So that's about all I know about their sex life. They were very Catholic, very conservative. My grandmother went to school in a convent. That's about all I know. They must have been doing something though, because they had 6 kids.
And a bunch of kids, yeah.
They had a bunch of kids. Irish Catholic. My grandmother was one of 6. My grandfather, I don't know how many there were. I think maybe just 3 of them. I think there's 3. My grandfather, his brother Robert, and then I think he had a sister Eliza. I could be wrong. Anyway, not the
with
point.
a Z. Eliza with a Z.
Yes. And then yeah, it's so weird because I don't remember a lot, and I would love to talk to them, but they're dead, so I can't. So anyway, my other grandparents, Ron and Lucy, married in 1976. This is my step grandmother technically. My grandfather, this is actually, it's really funny. So if you watched last week, My Family Tree Doesn't Fork, you get some back end information that I am not going to share this week.
And Grandpa's porno.
And my grandfather's porn. P.S. He likes mature porn. I think that was the week before, though.
Oh, yeah. It
might have been the episode before that. But you never know what I'm going to talk about.
Trying to connect the dots here, folks.
You never know what I'm going to talk about, but I'll tell you that my grandfather likes mature porn, and
liked.
And My Family Tree Doesn't Fork. Oh, liked. He's dead, yeah. Me, I'd like to think he's watching porn in heaven. Do you think they have porn in heaven?
I don't know. I honestly don't know if there's TVs or smartphones or any of the nonsense that we have to do. There could be live porn shows. If you're good and go to heaven, do you get to perform a live sex show every 3 times a day or something? But that would
be hell for somebody. Some people don't want to be in a sex show.
Well, it would be for the people that enjoy that kind of a thing. That would be heaven to them. I
got bills. Somebody wants to do a live sex show, hit me up. I can't use the cash. I don't give a shit. Anyway, clearly. But back to my grandparents. So my grandmother, my grandmother told me that they would have sex once a month, and it was on the calendar. And
it wasn't when Matlock was on, though. No bueno on Matlock. I don't know what it was,
but it was on the calendar. They had sex once a month. That was my grandmother. She felt like that, and she was older at this point. Like when we had this conversation, I was an adult. I was born in 76. I was probably about 35 at the time. So, she's probably about 70 at this point. She's telling me these stories. So I was single and dating just prior to meeting you, actually. And I was dating this guy who on paper was great, but was absolutely boring. And the sex was not good. I won't name names. But my grandmother says to me, and she would say all kinds of funny things when I was dating. She would call me every day and ask for the what's going on with the story. And she would say, when you go on a date and they order an expensive bottle of wine, you just put it in your purse and you bring it home to Grandma. I'm like, yeah, Grandma, I'm carrying a purse this big. Let me just shove a bottle of wine. And it was so funny because we went to dinner one night And I went to dinner one night with a guy, different guy, and he bought a $3,000 bottle of champagne. And I'm like, Grandma would love that. Like, that's also more than my rent. That was double my rent at the time. It was my rent twice and my electric bill twice. Oh. That's how much that was. So yeah, that was a little weird. Anyway, so that was the my grandmother. That was the one guy. The other guy was boring. So I told my grandmother, the sex isn't very good, and he doesn't dine at the Y. Would you like to do a visual representation?
No, I would rather not.
He doesn't dine at the Y.
Wow. There's a clip for you.
There's your screenshot right there. So anyway, I had to explain to my grandmother what that meant. She didn't know. And so...
Did she say that was disgusting or something?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So we go to Magoni's. Now, if you
Magoni's.
know... Magoni's in Somerset, Massachusetts. It's Magoni's, and it's down by... down by the bridge, or it's down by the river, and we've done, my cousin's wedding was there. Like, they have nice luncheons. It's very reasonably priced. It's decent food, but they do like the glasses, like you have like a wine glass, a water glass, goblets, whatever, silverware, it's linens, the whole 9 yards, but still very reasonable. I don't know how they can afford to stay open, but that's beside the point. Well, because it's like the little old Betties that go in for lunch every day. So I would take my grandmother there, and it's a small, there's the dining room and then there's the bar, but the way it's a smaller place and things echo in there like badly. So I'm there having a conversation with my grandmother one day, and she says to me, I had said to her, he doesn't dine at the Y, and I had I haven't gotten to the Magoni's. I got to back up before Magoni's. I would take calls from my grandmother in the car on Bluetooth, and the kids would be with me. Sometimes she would come out with some stuff, and I'd be like, Grandma, you're on the speaker with the kids. Of course, they were teenagers at this point, so she could say crazy stuff, and it really wouldn't faze them. They would just think it was hilarious. But I had told her, I said, he doesn't dine on the Y. I had to explain what that was. And she said, that's disgusting. And she said, my friend at the Shalimar Apartments, her husband would make her put his thing in her mouth.
Oh.
That was disgusting. And I was like, Grandma, have you never done that? And she's like, no, I would never do that.
Wow.
And so of course that festered for a while. So we go to Magoni's, and we're there having, then of course I briefed her on anal sex and how that's like a thing now, and people go ass to mouth, and the whole nine.
You're not supposed to.
And it's forgivable in the heat of the moment to go ass to mouth.
That is from Clerks 2.
Love that movie. You should see it. Worth it. Rosario Dawson, she does a dance to ABC, and her boobs are so hypnotic. Don't you remember Rosario Dawson?
Oh yeah, I remember it very well. Yes, I do.
Love it. Hit me up, Rosario. Anyway, not the point. So my grandmother was like, I can't believe what you told me about sex yesterday. These people are all crazy. And I told her about BDSM, the whole 9 yards. And she's yelling about it in the car. The kids are there. She's like, I can't believe what you told me about the sex yesterday. That's disgusting. I would never do that. You kids today. And my kids are in the car fucking losing their shit. And I'm like, Grandma. And then she just starts gossiping about everybody. She was a hoot. Anyway, so I take her to Magoni's. We're there, small place. My grandmother orders a Manhattan, and it comes with like a shaker, and you got your glass. This woman weighs about 100 pounds. My grandfather was sober 31 years when he passed, so they didn't keep alcohol in the house. Well, they used to have alcohol only when they said the rosary, and my aunts would go over to say the rosary, and my grandfather finally shut it down because he realized that they just wanted to get drunk and gossip. So my grandmother, every time she would get out of the house, she would want to get fucked up. So I take her to Magoni's, and she orders a Manhattan. So they bring you like a little shaker, and you could fill your glass twice. I tried my grandmother's Manhattan. That shit tastes like turpentine. These old ladies, like, watch out. She's no joke. And I do have another story about my grandmother getting drunk, though. That's pretty good, and maybe I'll circle back to. So she, you look really riveted by this conversation. You just don't care about my story.
I've heard it many times. I never met your grandmother, so I don't know about her sex life, so there's not much I can add to it.
Okay.
So that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all. So I'm waiting.
So my grandmother, we're in Magoni's, and I said to her, Grandma, I said, so you've never like given anybody a blowjob? And she's like, no, that's disgusting. I go, well, Grandma, has anybody ever gone down on you? She was like, that's disgusting. And I go, Grandma, have you ever had an orgasm? She says to me, I think so. And in the middle of Magoni's, with all the little glasses and the china and the whole 9 yards, I go, you what? Every glass in that restaurant clinked together for a good 10 minutes. It was clink, 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 because I stormed so hard. So fast forward to my grandmother being catatonic for a week and then eventually dying. And right before she died, I was helping the nurse give her, a wipe down, and I was holding a blanket and stuff. And I said to my grandmother was catatonic for a full week, did not blink, like for a week. It was disgusting. It was absolutely terrible. We should not allow human beings to suffer like this. It's inhumane. I tried to stop it. Couldn't get near the fridge enough to kill her, but I would like to thank all of the medical personnel who tried to tell me exactly how much to give her. I salute you. Just couldn't get past my stupid fucking aunt, so my grandmother suffered for a week. Yeah, while they sat there with the Catholicism. Yeah, that's why I have unresolved anger. Not the point. The point is the nurse and I are washing my grandmother, and the nurse went to get something. And I said, my grandmother had not moved in a week, not so much as blinked. I said, Grandma, I don't know what bothers me more. The fact that you're sick like this and suffering, or the fact that you may die without ever having an orgasm. I feel like I should reach down there and take care of it for you. Hand to God. Eyebrow goes up. Within 5 minutes, she was dead.
You killed your grandmother with your
if I had known that, I would have told her the story a week earlier.
Yeah.
I would have told her all kinds of stories. I would have done whatever it took to end this poor woman's suffering. She didn't deserve to suffer like that. I just got a text message with the cover of this episode, and as you could expect, it would be the screenshot of me indicating dining at the Y. I just made you that. The other story about my grandmother, was it about my grandmother? I said I'm going to circle back to that. Was it about my grandmother?
Yeah, it was something about your grandmother.
I don't remember. It'll come to me later.
The only thing I have about my grandparents and sex is that my grandfather was like 300 pounds and my grandmother was like 4'10". I'm not sure how that worked. And they had
sex with me.
7 kids or something like that.
I'm in a shape.
I'm not 4'10".
Yeah, but you doggy style. Your grandparents did it doggy style, Doug.
Oh. I don't know. I don't know when that was invented. When did dogs invent that? I don't know what.
Have you ever watched any animals?
No.
I'm watching.
No, I don't watch the freaky
gecko. It just shit. Oh my god! It just. I just watched the gecko.
On live podcast.
I wish I had that in video.
Far.
Incidentally, we do have one live viewer tonight in the studio. The neighborhood cat is over on the neighbor's trash can.
Hello.
Although I don't know if it's still there. It was there when we started this whole Michigas. I did happen to mention this podcast on the Residents of Cape Coral today. So
you did?
We may have made some friends or enemies. We may be getting run out of town. I don't really know yet.
Well, we know we've told them where they can get some good crocheting stuff done. We've told them about your grandmother's sex habits.
We told them about unemployment and what a fucking
Massachusetts
disaster that
unemployment.
Although Florida, how much does Florida pay a week?
Whatever it was like it caps out at like $275 a week.
And Massachusetts, it's
depends on what you make, but it's 3 times that at least.
It's like $1,000.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what you make, but it's So it was a huge difference, and there was only like a short window of time that I qualified for, and so anyways. But Massachusetts told me that they all pay into it no matter what state.
But the upside is that in Massachusetts there's better unemployment, but in Florida we don't have state income taxes.
Right.
But here's the kicker. If you had taken, so it's unemployment insurance, so it's your money, you paid into it. You don't get unemployment if you don't pay into the system.
Right.
So if they had taken all of the money that you put into the system and invested it in a proper investment vehicle all this time, you would have gobs and gobs and gobs of money. We would have our normal salary and then some. Yeah. But that's not what happens. And that's not what happens with Social Security either. You're not getting it invested as if you had invested your own money. And that's kind of the problem I have with this money being taken out of your check without your consent, is you don't have a decision as to where that money goes or how it's allocated. And don't get me wrong, as financially irresponsible as I have been at times of my life, I have never been as irresponsible as the federal government of the United States or the state of Massachusetts.
We're totally getting shut down. Our algorithm's going to the crapper.
Maybe not. Maybe it's...
then we'll be heroes like Che Guevara or somebody.
I don't know, but I do know that I think it's time for the reset. I think we need to just do things completely differently. I wouldn't mind getting kicked out, but I am excited that Florida love or hate our governor Ron DeSantis just I don't know if they passed or proposed a bill that basically says that we will never go cashless in Florida, and he's asking other states to join in. And I think that that's an important thing, because when you talk about a cashless society, it means every penny you spend is tracked. It means no more paying your babysitter $20.
Yeah.
Like, even that is monitored. It's nobody's fucking business what you spend your money on.
What if my auntie sends me $5 in a card?
She's gonna have to Venmo you. Your 90-year-old aunt is gonna have to figure out how to fucking Venmo you. But that, I guess that'll stop all those $5 checks from getting lost in the mail. It's been a long day. I think we've covered we covered
a lot.
We covered the Rife Machine, unemployment, Grandma and Grandpa's sex life. May she rest in peace. Oh, incidentally, my grandmother died. My grandfather got super horny. Oh. Very common with Alzheimer's patients, especially men, to get all horned up. They were fighting over my aunt's tenant in the basement. My uncle and
at the Shalimar?
My uncle had Alzheimer's, and he was fighting with my grandfather because he thought my grandfather was sleeping with the tenant that lives in his house. Oh. So, yeah, it's kind of part of what happens with Alzheimer's, and it sucks. And, yeah. So, anyway, so we talked about Alzheimer's, we talked about my grandparents' sex life, we talked about my bad crocheting, we talked about the Rife Machine. I think it's time to circle in and check with our, do some gratitude and check with our friends. Gratitude. Okay, so I'm going to start 5 things. So we're going to each name 5 things. We're going to try to make sure that we actually identify what we're grateful for instead of getting off on a total tirade. Right. We can go on a tirade. We're going to loop back to what we're grateful for. Sure. So today, I am grateful for the albino lizard up there. He has provided me with massive entertainment. I'm so happy for him that he can shit. I did shit today.
I am grateful for really 2 things, but it's all in one. I am grateful to be off that call with unemployment. And I'm also grateful that...
Well, that can be a second grateful thing.
Well, I'm also grateful that we had some movement, and we think that it actually...
might eventually happen.
Yeah. Again, I swear to God, I told her, I said, I'm not going to count any chickens before that money hits the account, because I don't trust anybody. I don't know. I mean, it's just like the rigmarole that I've gone through with this is just insane.
So we're really grateful for the progress that we're making.
Oh, grateful for the progress.
Okay, my second thing I'm grateful for is my Rife Machine. I think it actually is helping, and I've been doing it every day, so that's good.
Oh, I forgot to mention on unemployment, I was on hold so long, I made up lyrics to this on hold music.
And we have been all asking for you to do music on the show, and I feel like you should do the unemployment
I should call them, leave it on hold, and sing over it like a karaoke thing.
That's what I'm saying you should do.
Okay.
Okay, so I have my 2 things I'm grateful for. What are you grateful for? What else? So unemployment.
Yep.
I'm thankful for my Rife Machine, and I'm thankful for the lizard.
I'm grateful to...
You can't copy me. You can't copy with me. 10 things. Come on. Okay. Maybe you should prepare these before.
Well, I was grateful that I had a pretty good day of job hunting. Basically, it was a good day.
So there were more listings.
There were more listings. Reached out to some people that other people had introduced me to. They didn't get back to me, but
I think it's all about the networking. I really think you need to reach out to recruiters and talk to people. And if you're watching this, we would love to bribe you to get my husband into an appropriately placed salaried position. I pay $1,000 for a referral.
Although I did hear Big 8 Barbecue was hiring.
I don't think they're qualified.
Well, I think I would work there just to have the brisket, like on break, because their brisket sandwich is
unfortunately, if you did that, you would lose your unemployment, which would be more.
Well, that's the thing. So yeah, so then I gotta
and you wouldn't be looking for a job. And the problem for you is,
but I'd be enjoying some sweet ass brisket. Between
your full-time job of looking for a job and being a caregiver to me, if you have a job, you're not looking for a new job,
right?
And that's a problem. And you know it's but you're getting better about your self-care, and I hope that you'll continue to set some good boundaries when you're actually working. And because the crazy thing is the guy works from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. every day without taking a break, maybe 15 minutes in the middle of the day to grab a sandwich out of the fridge. Didn't take any vacation time, got screwed out of his vacation time, lost his job, never always takes a day off, my birthday, spends it on the phone with work calls, Father's Day work calls, 4th of July work calls,
April was Easter dinner,
We never even got, and
Got a call.
he never even got paid out of his vacation time. He got, like, that's the ridiculous thing, because they said that he had unlimited. News to us, didn't take any time.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, to a corporation, you're a number, necessary evil. Remember that. You know, I think it's just hard to do both. It's hard to be working as hard as you work and taking care of me and to do the job search and dealing with the house.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
bullshit.
you also have a work ethic, right? So you want to do a good job. You want to be helpful to people. You want to be good. You want to drive the team around you to have
But you definitely did stuff that was outside of the scope of your job. I mean,
yeah, you definitely you go above and beyond, and then at the end of the day,
what's the reward?
You meet expectations, and
If you're
going to
go
the same
above and beyond, you
3%
should
that everybody
probably
else
work for
got.
yourself. So anyway, if you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky,
for
you
sure.
get 3%.
Yeah, like I remember.
Corporate numbers are through the roof, but people are getting laid off and they're getting 3% because they care more about the shareholders than they do about their employees. And that goes back to what I was saying about that goddamn lady with her $70 haircut.
Well,
Cut and color for $70. Are you on crack?
Wow.
Anyway.
Well, no offense to the crack people, because we love you. We love
Yeah,
all
I
people.
like people who do crack a lot more than I like people who are cheap
complain
with
about
hairstylists.
and cheese their friends.
So I was thankful for the gecko, the Rife machine, unemployment.
Yeah.
What else are you thankful for?
GarageBand.
Oh, GarageBand. You're using it to make your music.
Yeah.
I'm dying for him to actually have something finished so we can promote it somehow, put it in Spotify. I don't fucking know. I'm super grateful for random new friends that I make on the internet. Like Cindy, she's awesome. Todd, I knew Todd through a friend, but my new friend on the Cape Coral page, whose name is escaping me. I want to say it was like Bobby Joe or something. Yeah, I like those people. So your third?
My third was GarageBand, I think. I had two.
What was your second one?
I had two for unemployment.
That was one.
Oh, my second one was that I had a lot of job listings to
Okay, so I
write in
have
about.
three, so now I need a fourth. My fourth would be I'm thankful for the very long nap I got today. That helped tremendously.
Nice. I am thankful for dealing with a certain client of mine that actually it's the client's husband ordered up the van graphics, so I got to work on that while I was on hold with. So
it kept you entertained.
So kept me entertained. I still have a little work to do on it a little bit.
He has to make the website bigger.
I do. Yeah, it was like a good thing I didn't finish it because after 5 I got yes, the client would like to make the website bigger. To which I informed them, is the client the design guy or am I the design guy? You know, like and being.
But you have to make the client happy, and that's
you do and you don't. You just take the money and run. No, I'm kidding.
the money. We don't charge
No,
them.
send me the invoice. I'm not sending the invoice.
She's on
people.
crack.
You kidding?
So that was 4 for you. No, that was 5.
I think that
5?
may have been 5. Yeah.
I don't know if I did a 5th. I'll throw one out here. The mobile job went well. Sleep, Rife, Blizzard. I'm thankful for the people that watch our podcast. We really appreciate you. Anybody who interacts with it, we double appreciate you. If you share it, we triple appreciate you. Thank you so much. We're just trying to, maybe spread a little positivity in the world. Maybe bring a little joy into people's lives. Maybe a little reality television because it's real. Up in this bitch. So we're gonna briefly interact with our friends, and we're gonna go to sleep.
I don't think there's
we're old.
much in the way of.
So, my drunk grandma story. Drunk grandma story goes like this. My grandmother would always want a drink. She would come to my house, and she would be like, "Do you have any wine?" "No, Grandma, I don't have any wine." She said, "Do you have any Baileys?" "Yeah, Grandma, I have some Baileys." So I had these big Merlot glasses, like these big honking Merlot glasses, and you're like only supposed to put a little bit of wine in and breathe,
swirl it around,
whatever.
and, yeah.
Legs on the side, I don't know. Legs up in the air. When I drink Merlot, my legs go up in the air, but some people, it has legs on the side of the glass. I don't know what happens. But my grandmother wanted, I said, well, I have some Baileys. So I took she wanted Baileys with ice. So I took one of those massive honking glasses, put 2 ice cubes in it, and filled it with Baileys. My grandmother's like, I don't know, 120 pounds, fucked up out of her mind. And she asked me, what is internet porn? And I showed her internet porn.
Oh.
Yeah.
You showed it to her.
I watched porn with my grandmother.
She was a step grandmother, though. That's
I
big
would watch
difference.
porn with her. It's for all intents and purposes, she was my actual grandmother.
Okay.
And actually, it's funny, the story of how they met, which is only 10 times funnier if you know that my family tree doesn't fork, is that my grandfather, when my grandmother was sick, I would take him for walks, or when she was catatonic for a week before she died, I would take my grandfather for walks or for a drive. And he told me the first time he saw my grandmother, She was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen, and he had to marry her. Isn't that a nice story? Yeah. It's only weird because they're cousins. They didn't have kids together, but yeah, cousins. My grandparents. Wow. They did not like when you brought that up, but they're dead and haunting me. So there's that. I'm probably in trouble right now.
Well,
yeah.
Your grandmother has come back in the form of a albino gecko.
Oh, she haunts me in the term of Blondie songs. Look, he's there. He's right there now. He's on the actual door. Do you see it on this where the two doors meet on the very top?
Yep. Okay.
Anyway, Cindy, thank you so much for participating tonight. I am so sorry that your grandmother suffered. It's totally inhumane. We shouldn't be letting you guys. I just knocked this over and caught it midair. Like
it was a good grab.
I'm so sorry that she did that. As of 3 p.m. today, TikTok was banned on campus. I'm curious as to what campus is that. Cindy, keep me posted when you're watching The Handmaid's Tale. I'm rewatching it right now. I'm on season 2, almost done. It's Florida GCU. So what's FGCU? Banned on use of their Wi-Fi. So use cellular data, kids. You know how to work your way around that. She had albino decos too. Oh yeah, the economy. Well, obviously it's impacting us because Doug's not working, and things are increasingly expensive, and nothing's covered by insurance. My poor friend has 2 broken feet, and I feel so bad for her. Please pray for Cindy. I feel so bad. There's probably a code for bipolar in there. There's definitely a code for bipolar. Broken feet, there might be, like leg breaks, whatever, like that it helps it heal faster. There probably is. I would have to double check. Yeah, she does. Todd, we love you. And let's see what I've got on my page and see what you've got on yours. So it doesn't appear. Do you have any comments on your video?
Nothing.
Which is good, because if people are commenting on that page, we're in good shape, and then some people will comment on the YouTube later.
I had a couple of likes.
I'm a little worried about Debbie, because she usually comments on everything. And she didn't comment
Wellness
on the podcast
check
this week. Debbie, you okay?
Wellness check.
And then, let's see what we got. I got sent a cover of this episode, which I'm very excited about. I will probably use that, and a bunch of notifications on TikTok. So that's pretty much all I got. You got anything else?
That's all I got. That was enough.
I'm gonna take my clothes off and jump in the pool.
Hey now, you know that that people can see you, even though it's dark out. They can see you with the lights on. I can turn the lights off, and you'll be fine.
I don't give a shit if they can see me. I just don't want to get arrested.
I just want to.
I asked a buddy of mine if I was going to get arrested for skinny dipping my pool. He said no, but then I saw an article about some guy getting busted for being naked in his yard. So I don't know.
Well,
then there was the guy that was jerking off driving down Del Prado.
Yeah, which is a main drag, like
Death Prado, we call it. Somebody dies there like once a week in an accident.
This guy was there was film of it. Put it right on the internet.
Oh yeah, no, he was just going to town. Anyway, we'll
on that note, go to town and enjoy yourself.
Boys and girls, go to town on yourselves.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Spay and neuter your pets.